The proposal, unusual for a Silicon Valley tech giant, would theoretically reduce OpenAI's borrowing costs since the government would absorb the losses if the company defaulted. Wouldn't you like to open up a company and if it went bankrupt, the government would pay for it?
Wow.
These are the richest guys in the world using government welfare to run their companies. So, we've told you that the capitalists who run the country, the billionaires, they like to socialize the losses and privatize the profit, just like the banks did in 2008. So they made trillions of dollars rigging the system, turning banks into casino hopping. And then when it crashed, the United States government gave them $700 billion to bail out those banks. So the bankers never missed their bonuses. But 5.1 million families got kicked out of their homes to make the banks solid. The exact opposite of what people wanted. People wanted the banks broken up. Barack Obama came in and protected the bankers because every person in Barack Obama's cabinet came directly from an email from Citigroup, and everyone on that email ended up in Barack Obama's cabinet. And I know that because WikiLeaks revealed that. That's why they tried to kill Julian Assange for so long. And now what they're doing here is, see, that's Sam Altman. He's OpenAI, right? That's the ChatGPT. He says that they're going to put all this money into AI and they're probably going to go bankrupt. And then the government has to bail them out. So OpenAI, Sam Altman, sees AI bubble forming as industry spending surges. Really? And he's got that look like, what can I tell you? I'm not a gadget guy. And so this is from More Perfect Union. In a new podcast, that guy, Sam Altman, says, well, I'll just show you what he says. I'll show you what he says.
Some level, when something gets sufficiently huge, whether or not they are on paper, the federal government is kind of the insurer of last resort.
Is kind of. No, they are the insurer of last resort when it comes to the banks. So the banks failed, and the government bailed them out. They insured the banks, and now he wants the government to insure his company and companies like him when they go bankrupt, funding AI. So let's watch.
As we've seen in various financial crises and insurance companies screwing things up. So I guess.
And by the way, they bailed out AIG, which is an insurance company. In 2008, they bailed out banks and what was it? I just said the name of it. AIG insurance company. I think they were $180 billion in the red, and they bailed them out. So he's right. Whenever we see a big financial crisis, the government you socialize the risk. Whenever they lose money, the government, so they don't ever have to worry about losing money because the government's going to pay for it. And that's what he wants the government to do for AI companies. Watch.
And the magnitude of what I expect AI economic impact to look like, I do think the government ends up as like the insurer of last resort. But I think I mean that in a different way than you mean that. And I don't expect them to actually be like writing the policies in the way that maybe they do for nuclear.
And there's a big difference between the government being the insurer of last resort and the insurer of first resort. Last resort's inevitable, but I'm worried they'll become the insurer of first resort, and that I don't want.
Yeah, well, that's what you're going to get. That's what's happening. That's what you're going to get because the tech bros run the government. That's why. That's why you always see all those. Remember all those tech guys surrounding Donald Trump at the White House and at his inaugural? That's what this is about. Just like Donald Trump just gave $40 billion to Argentina while cutting health care for people in America, they're going to do the same thing for AI. They're going to bail them out. Here we go. So OpenAI seeks government backing to boost AI investments. This is from Barron's. So again, this is not a left-wing rag. This is a financial rag. This is November 5th. OpenAI seeks government backing. And when I think about something being free and open, like OpenAI, I automatically assume that it's in the hands of the government. ChatGPT creator, OpenAI, the world's largest private company, is asking the United States government to provide loan guarantees for its massive infrastructure expansion that will eventually cost more than $1 trillion. Speaking at a Wall Street Journal business conference, OpenAI CFO Sarah Friar explained that government backing could help attract the enormous investment needed for AI computing and infrastructure, given the uncertain lifespan of AI data centers. So what she's saying is, we're going to be able to raise money and capital to invest in AI if the people who are investing their money are guaranteed they won't lose their money. So if you're guaranteed, if when AI goes belly up, that the government will cover your losses, so you're not going to have any losses, then more people are. You mean more people are willing to invest in a sure thing, a thing that they'll never be able to lose money on? Oh, that's a shocker. I'd like to get in on that. I'd like to help finance some AI because I know the government's going to pay for it when it goes belly up, just like the banks, just like AIG Insurance Company. This is where we're looking for an ecosystem of banks, private equity, maybe even government. Oh, really? Maybe? Really? Maybe. So let me tell you, when I prioritize things, my actual life means nothing in the face of making sure that some AI data center lives on. That's the important part. You got to make sure the federal loan guarantees would really drop the cost of financing, she explained, enabling OpenAI and its investors to borrow more money at lower rates to meet the companies that big. So why would they get a lower rate? Because it's guaranteed to never lose money. The proposal, unusual for a Silicon Valley tech giant, would theoretically reduce OpenAI's borrowing costs since the government would absorb the losses if the company defaulted. Wouldn't you like to open up a company and if it went bankrupt, the government would pay for it?
Wow.
These are the richest guys in the world using government welfare to run their companies. Such guarantees would also dramatically expand OpenAI's potential lender pool, as many banks and financial institutions face strict limits on high-risk lending. So you take the risk out of it. So it's not capitalism. This is called socialism. It's socialism for the rich, rugged individualism for everybody else. This is called socializing the losses and privatizing the profits. That's what this is called. But it's not the government that actually absorbs those losses. Guess who absorbs those losses? It's us, because we are the ones losing every other form of coverage to make up for it. This is just the enticing promotional phase, by the way, encouraging people to invest what will be the thing that totally replaces them down the road. So the government is now going to invest in taking away jobs from people through AI, and then when you lose your job, you still have to take your tax money and bail out the AI company that just took your job. So now you know that it's a rigged system. Now you get it? That the people with the money make the rules? OpenAI's request for government support comes amid a massive spending spree on computing infrastructure, raising questions about how the company will recoup these investments. By some estimates, OpenAI has committed to approximately $1 trillion in infrastructure deals this year alone, including a $300 billion partnership with Oracle and a $500 billion Stargate project with Oracle and SoftBank. So that's Elon Musk. Oracle, that's the guy who just bought Paramount.
Right.
What's his name?
Fun names today.
Yeah. Larry Ellison. So the richest guy in the world, Larry Ellison, is now going to be covered. He's not going to be able to lose any money. And if he does, the government will pay for it, meaning you, as they eliminate your jobs with AI. It's a nice system. Nice system you got going there. Okay. While the company expects revenues in the tens of billions this year, impressive for any startup, that figure falls far short of covering the computing costs required to power. So it costs them more to power OpenAI, ChatGPT, than the money they make off it. So it's losing proposition right now. It costs more money to power an AI center than the money that the AI center actually makes. And they're making tens of billions of dollars this year alone, and they're still losing money. And who's going to make up that money for them? The United States government via Donald Trump. So even the AI guy admits when tech breaks, the taxpayer foots the bill. Sounds less like innovation and more like corporate socialism. Random fact, in 2008, the U.S. government spent over $700 billion bailing out private banks during the financial crisis. They weren't allowed to fail. That's called too big to fail. And now AI is too big to fail. Isn't that interesting? Wow. And so this data bailout is going to exceed what we gave to the banks in 2008 to bail them out. Just wait till they need a sperm bank bailout. That's what I say. Jerk officers, time to strap up and hit the ground running. Fi says these same billionaires assert that government absolutely cannot be the insurer of last resort for America's working families. Okay, there it is. Too big to fail. Stealing our water, energy, and jobs wasn't enough. Now OpenAI wants the government bailout because it's too big to fail. This is the same thing we heard in 2008, which led to the big banks getting bailouts while the people got kicked out of their homes. No more bailouts. Let these evil corporations die. Are you for capitalism or not? They're not. That's spoiler alert. The tech billionaires are not for capitalism. They're for socialism. Just the socialism that fills their pockets. Isn't that interesting? Wow. The difference between Sam Altman and the financial crisis, the financials waited until after implosion to ask for a bailout. They're asking for a bailout before it even happens. They're asking for a bailout before. So the banks at least waited till they failed before they asked for a bailout. The Sam Altman and the OpenAI people are asking for a bailout up front. So they're going to take your jobs away and then make you pay for that company that took your job away when it goes belly up. Wow. That's what's happening. Just so you know. Okay, and you know what I tell OpenAI? Go grok yourself. That's what I say. Okay, so if you'd like to hear my jokes about the billionaire class and the oligarchs and how we need to join together to oppose them, come see me tell jokes in Australia, Burbank, California, the day after Thanksgiving. It's a Friday, November 28th. Most people are off. I'm not off. December 6th, we'll be in Pottstown, Pennsylvania. And January 11th, it's a Sunday. We'll be in Waikiki, Hawaii at the Blue Note. Beautiful theater right on Waikiki Beach. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. Come see us in Australia. Second show's added in Melbourne, Sydney, and Brisbane. We'll see you in Burbank, California, the day after Thanksgiving. It's a Friday. And then Pottstown, Pennsylvania, December 6th. Plus, January 11th, we're going to be in Waikiki at the Blue Note. Tickets not available yet for them, but go to jimmydore.com for a link for all the other tickets.